a murder indictment against Raymond Tenzing, who was a University of Cincinnati police officer, for the murder of Samuel DuBose. We are going to release the video of this murder here shortly. The office is actively making copies for all of you. I think that's probably the best way to do it. If you have questions of me, you can ask them now, but I will say this. I've been doing this for over 30 years. This is the most asinine act I've ever seen a police officer make. Totally unwarranted. It's an absolute tragedy in the year 2015 that anyone would behave in this manner. It was senseless, and I met with a family just moments ago. It's just horrible. Yes?
Joe, tell me what makes it murder under the law?
Purposeful killing of another. That's what makes it murder. He purposely killed him.
And when you say it's asinine and totally unwarranted, can you, in your mind, what contributed to a trained police officer doing something that you call asinine?
He should have never been a police officer. I mean, I work with police every day, and they are some of the best people I know. And Mr. DuBose simply didn't follow simple, non-violent commands. He was subdued. The cop had his license plate number. I mean, it was so unnecessary for this to have occurred. And the policemen I know and the investigators that I work with every day, this situation would never have escalated like this. You know, people want to believe that Mr. DuBose had done something violent towards the officer. He did not. He did not at all. And I feel so sorry for his family and what they lost, and I feel sorry for the community too, because we've worked so hard to develop great police relationships with the community, and to have this type of a senseless act take place in Cincinnati, this doesn't happen in the United States, okay? This might happen in Afghanistan or somewhere. This just does not happen in the United States. People don't get shot for a traffic stop unless they're violent towards the police officer. And he wasn't. He was simply slowly, you were going to see it, he was simply slowly rolling away. That's all he did.
You know what, in the United also, cops don't get indicted for murder very often in the United States.
That's true. And you all have covered me for a long time. And you know that this office has probably reviewed upwards of 100 police shootings. And this is the first time that we thought this is without question a murder. Yes, Sherry.
The officer's attorney told us that the officer was dragged, and I believe the incident report suggests that too. Does the video show that at all?
No, he wasn't dragged.
Was he ever knocked to the ground from the hood of the car?
No. He fell backwards after he shot him in the head.
There have been some comments that perhaps this officer was in over his head making this traffic stop and panicked. Is that in any way, shape, or form what we see on the video, what you've seen?
I think he lost his temper because he wasn't, you know, Mr. DuBose wouldn't get out of his car. I think he lost his temper. And when you see this, you will not believe how quickly he pulls his gun and shoots him in the head. maybe a second. It's incredible. And so senseless, and again, I feel so sorry for his family, and I feel sorry for the community. This should not happen, ever.
What did the officer say that happened in his statement to the police?
He said he was dragged.
What did you tell his family, Mr. DuBose's family, and what was their reaction?
They're in a very sensitive place right now because of their loss. I simply told them we were seeking a murder indictment for what happened. And, you know, I believe we can make them available, Julie, is that correct?
They're going to let me know.
If they want to talk to you all.
Have they seen the video?
They have.
Are they in the building?
I showed it. Yes.
What was their-
Some of them. It was horrible. I mean, it's you know, you see your relative get shot in the head. It's horrible.
Joe, is it going to be so horrible that the community or even outsiders will look past or not see the murder and go right to that? Are you concerned at all about what this is going to possibly cause?
Well, I think that because we acted as rapidly as we could, we returned a murder indictment against a police officer. It was, and keep in mind, this is not Cincinnati. This is the University of Cincinnati. I would hope that people would, as they reflect on this entire situation, realize that we sought justice, which is my job, and did the right thing. And you know, when you all see this video, and we're going to play it here for you in a second, and we'll give you copies of it for your use. It's just senseless. It is. Didn't have to happen. Yeah, Tom. Good.
Officer Kidd, I mean, backed up the story in the report for Officer Kidd.
We're looking at that, John. We're looking at that entire issue right now. We promised the family we would look at that. It is our belief that he was not dragged. I mean, if you slow down this tape, you see what happened. But it is a very, very short period of time from when this car just starts slowly rolling that the gun is out and he's shot in the head.
I know this is a somewhat of a side issue now maybe, but over the last week and a half, there's so many calls to release this video early. Would you just comment for us about why you insisted that this video not be released until now, until this investigation is done?
It was an investigatorial technique. I mean, we have a cop who was a target of an investigation, and he was talking. And I didn't want the video to be on television and then have later witnesses and or a targeted defendant couch his testimony around that. So I chose to do that, and you all sued me, so congratulations. And you all lose, too.
Hey, Joe, the family's attorney yesterday had said to me that he didn't think there would be an indictment because getting an indictment on a cop is too hard and not enough time had passed for an investigation. I guess they don't know how it's done here, or can you respond to that?
I think it was very important that we responded rapidly to this case, especially after we saw the tape. And look, we don't mess around here. If we think something's awry, we go after it. And I assume the indictment's been reported out now, Julie. And a warrant for his arrest has gone out, and hopefully they'll pick him up soon.
Joe, that was my question. Have you discussed, is he going to turn himself in at scheduled time? Have you talked to his attorney?
I'm treating him like a murderer.
Is he in custody right now? Or is he
They're out to get him. We asked his lawyer to turn him in if he wants, but we're going to arrest him.
as we speak?
Yes.
You're still going to go forward with the Supreme Court, though, to try to get this idea of a body cam as a public record decided, correct?
We'd like to. We think that the issue's probably going to be moot after today, but it would be nice to get some direction from the Supreme Court.
You've worked with officers in many, many cases, and you say you've been prosecuted officers before. What should the officer have done in this case? You said he reacted it's moments before the car swirling away and the officer fires. What should he have done?
He wasn't dealing with someone who was wanted for murder, okay? He was dealing with someone who didn't have a front license plate. I mean, this is, in the vernacular, a pretty chicken crap stop, all right? And I could use harsher words. But nonetheless, if he's starting to roll away, just seriously, let him go. I mean, you don't have to shoot him in the head. And that's what happened.
Joe, how long is the videotape?
The videotape is about, I'm going to give you the entire video, so you'll have the entire video with you. I'm going to stop it after the shot takes place, because there's a lot of stuff after that where the cops are talking about what happened, and the defendant says, you know, I got my arm stuck and my arm's hurt and all that stuff. It's just nonsense.
What's the message to the community or to other police officers, Joe?
I mean, look, we're going to follow the law in this office, and we are going, if the facts fit the law, we're going to pursue that, no matter if you're a police officer or you're Pope Francis. I don't care who you are, and we're going to go after you.
Is this murder in the first degree, second degree?
There's not murder like that in Ohio. No, this is a purposeful killing of another person.
If convicted, what's the penalty, Joe?
Life in prison.
What can you tell us about the officer himself? Have you seen any of, like, his background or his records?
Nothing I'm going to share with you today.
But when you say he should not have been a police officer...
Don't sue me over that, Sherry.
I'm sorry, what?
No, I thought Sherry was going to sue me for that answer.
When you stated earlier that he should not have been a police officer, are you referring to this incident or other aspects of his police career?
I think you have to look at his entire body of work. And I don't know that UC could have found it out. And frankly, I told UC that Cincinnati Police ought to have a District 6 and make it to the University of Cincinnati. Because I just don't... Look, the university, I graduated from UC twice. It's a wonderful university. I love their president. But they're not cops. And we have a great police department in Cincinnati, probably the best in Ohio. And I talked to the chief about it today, and I said, you know, you guys should be doing this stuff. And I think he's in agreement with it. The university does a great job educating people, and you know, they made a lawyer out of me, kind of, and that should be their job. Being police officers shouldn't be the role of this university. I don't think so. Now they can interview these guys, and I'm sure they had great cops in the university police department, but they should be held to the same standard. And if they were with the CPD, they'd be held to the same standard and training CPD officers are. And I think it would be a good thing for the university. That's just my personal opinion.
Have you been in contact with the university, and do you know if he's still employed there?
He's on administrative paid leave. And hopefully soon he'll be on administrative paid leave in the Justice Center.
His attorney, the officer's attorney, suggested that the political environment was propelling him toward an indictment.
That's nonsense. I'm not, if I was driven by politics or media pressure, I would have released this tape a long time ago. I'm not.
When you saw this video, I assume you probably were the first to see it, I guess.
Not the first, but
Okay. When you saw it, share with us what went through your mind, given your career and what you have seen over the decades.
I can't say it in front of the media. I was shocked. And I realized I realized what this was going to mean to our community, and it really broke my heart because I know it's just bad. It's just bad what he did, and it shouldn't have happened. And you'll see for yourself.
Did you talk initially? We were hearing reports that it took a while to kind of come around to say he wanted to make a statement. When did he start talking?
Apparently, and you'd have to check this, Sherry. Apparently, in their union contract, the University Police, when they're involved in an incident, are permitted up to 48 hours to talk to somebody. And I was not aware of that. I mean, I would have sent him a grand jury subpoena and forced him to testify because, but it did take some time. It did take some time.
Do you know when the board of trustees at UC actually saw the...
They have not seen it.
They have not?
They have not. I asked the president, and he was planning on showing it to the board, and I asked him not to do that because, again, it would have become public. I wanted to keep it within law enforcement at all times.
Going back to what the officer said, once he did talk, did he say in that statement he was dragged, or was that just a knee-jerk reaction at the beginning? Did he stick to that story?
I can't talk about his statements. Okay, we're going to show this to you. This should take about probably 10 minutes, maybe at the most. Right, Peggy? Okay.
And there's audio with that, Joe?
Yeah, there's audio. At the beginning, there's no audio. Then he turns on the audio switch. Anybody have any questions for me yet? Done? Okay. I'll tell you when to plug it.
We want to warn you watching at home that Joe Dieters, the Hamilton County prosecutor, has been saying since the beginning of this news conference 17 minutes ago, the footage they're about to show you is disturbing, it's horrible, it's tragic, it is graphic, and we want to warn you at home that it may be just too much.
Yeah, it may not be suitable for some young eyes, so if you have children, you may want to ask them to leave the room as they prepare to show the video of the murder of Sam DuBose.
And we know it is a murder. He has been indicted on a charge of murder. They're ready to show the video now.
9233 traffic stop. I'll be on Phil Street, just off of Vine.
You by Phil Street?
Hey, firm. Phil, just off of Vine.
Joseph Lake.
Okay, we're slow to stop. We're on Rice Street, just off of Phil. Ohio, George Lincoln Norris, 6917. Occupied by 1. Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Officer Penn's UC Police. Do you have a license on you?
Yeah, what happened? When did you
Okay. Is this your car?
Yeah.
It's going back to the female, actually.
Yeah, it's my wife. Her name is Deshaun DeVries.
Okay. We don't have a front license plate on your car.
Oh, I can put my glove on. I have it.
What's that?
It's right here. I just...
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's got to go where the front plate's supposed to go.
Well, I didn't know.
You don't have to reach for it. It's okay. You have your license on you?
Yeah.
What's that bottle on the floor there?
Oh, it's a bottle.
Bottle what?
You can smell it. It's smell it.
Okay. Do you have your license on you?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know where that license at? Is that or what?
I got my titles and stuff on that.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you again. Do you have your license on
I
you?
have license. You can take run my name.
So do you not have your license on you? I'm asking you a direct question. Do you have your license on?
I thought I'd get out of here. What did you pull me over for?
Again, the front tag.
But it's not illegal to have a front flag. It's just
Okay. Actually, it is. I'm going to ask you again. Do you have a license on you?
I have a license. You can run my name.
Okay. Is that not on you then?
I don't think I have it on me.
Be straight up with me. Are you suspended?
No, I'm not suspended.
Why don't you have your license on you?
I just don't know. I'm sorry, sir. I'm going to go in the house.
Okay. Where do you say that? Down here?
Right around the corner.
Okay. Well, until I can figure out if you have a license or not, go ahead and take your seatbelt off for me.
I didn't even do nothing.
Go ahead and take your seatbelt off. Stop! I'm good. Man, just driving down, someone's getting away. I don't know about it. Huh?
Julio had discs available for you if you wanted the rest of the whole thing. We're talking about what happened.
Can you answer some more questions now that we've
Yeah,
seen
go
it?
ahead.
So can you describe what the running does? What looked like running? What was going on?
He was pursuing the car after he shot him in the head.
Who was the other officer on the scene?
Another UC police officer pulled up after he made the stop.
Joe, do you agree that it did not seem to show him being afraid for his life?
I agree with that. As I said before, it was a senseless, asinine shooting.
Did the gun come up twice, or did I imagine that?
What's that?
Did the gun come up and then down and then up again?
No, just once. I think it's just once. I'm almost certain of it.
Would maybe I have bad hearing. At what point on the video time, when we go back and look at it, did the gun fire?
The video time?
Yep. I didn't hear the pop, so maybe you can tell me where I should have heard it.
Well, when he got shot, if you can hear the car accelerating because he fell forward and must have pressed on the gas or something. He was dead instantly.
What did you say the possible sentence was?
Life in prison.
Can you just look at that and shake your head?
I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe it.
Hey, Joe, you moved up the release of the videos today. Initially, you were going to release yesterday. Can you explain?
Yesterday.
Sorry, tomorrow.
Oh. We got done. We got done with the grand jury.
Is that the end of the video, or are you not showing us something?
No, you'll have it all. You'll have the whole thing.
So it's not quite over at this point?
Right. Other cops are asking what happened, things like that, and he said he got his arm stuck in the steering wheel, and you just have to watch it.
Do you think this officer intentionally tried to mislead investigators as to what actually happened?
Yeah. Yes. I think he was making an excuse for a purposeful killing of another person. That's what I think.
Even with the body cam video?
I'm not saying he's smart. I'm just saying what I think he did.
So was it collusion with other officers? This report?
I don't think so. We're looking at that, Tom. The family raised that issue with us today, and we're going to look at that.
You talked about the idea UC Police should become Cincinnati Police District 6. How hard do you plan to push for that?
I've talked to the chief, I talked to the mayor, and I plan on talking to the university president. I've talked to board members at the university, and I just don't think a university should be in the policing business. I just don't think so. They got rid of them at University Hospital already. That's over with. I think CPD should be doing the entire campus.
Well, after the last lawsuit with the wrongful death lawsuit of a young man on campus, they got rid of tasers. Would tasers have helped in this situation, or is that just pure speculation?
That's just speculation. I mean, tasers are a very effective method to subdue violent people. I mean, this guy didn't deserve to be tased, and he certainly didn't deserve to be shot in the head.
Joe, did Officer Tensing turn the body cam video on himself as he got
Yes, he did.
right as he got out of the car?
Well, when he was driving, it was on. Yeah.
One of the reasons for UC Police being pulled back onto campus was that they're not trained to the collaborative, but they're not knowledgeable enough of urban policing. Is this an urban policing situation, or just a bad policing situation?
It's just bad police. I mean, it's just, look, every occupation has people that shouldn't be doing it. You probably know it in your own line of work. And
Where do they wear their body cams?
I believe it's right here in the middle. Yeah.
And do you feel like, how much would you say that this video helped the investigation into this?
It was invaluable. And
There hadn't been video.
if there hadn't been video,
Drag, that could have been.
exactly.
Cincinnati Police right now are pursuing a grant to purchase body cams.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea for police to wear that because, 9 times out of 10 it clears them of wrongdoing. And in this case, obviously, it led to an indictment for murder.
Do you know if it's common for universities to have their own police?
I think a lot of them do. A lot of them do. It's a culture of wanting to control your environment all the time. I was on UC's Board of Trustees, and this issue never came up. But clearly, there is an issue just off campus with violent crimes, and that's why they were bringing some of their university police down in those neighborhoods. I just think CPD would be better suited to do this than university police. I mean, when you lead to a murder like this, a shooting in the head, where your stop was no front license plate. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that is just. And if you see this family, how they are suffering from this, it's ridiculous that this happened.
Did they see that this speed, the normal, regular speed?
Yes.
Was it slow?
No, they saw it.
I'm going to have to slow it down to see exactly. Would you describe to me when exactly the shot? Did they start?
Do you know, Peggy?
Around 3 minutes on the video clear time, I was waiting to start it.
Okay.
Can I share with you, you're thinking about sending your kid to UC, and you wonder if that's who's protecting my child. I think it could have an impact on you.
Well, could you imagine the outrage you would have if this was your kid or this was your brother over a stop like this? And he didn't do anything violent towards the officer. He wasn't dragging him. And he pulled out his gun and intentionally shot him in the head.
Do you feel like this is a training issue, that this is something that could happen in a suburban, in the UC police, or Cincinnati police have far more training than...
I don't know the training levels at all. I just think, I know how CPD is. I know, and I've traveled this state a lot, unfortunately. The level of professionalism and Cincinnati police are just really, really good. It's a great department. And if you have access to something like that, like the university would, I would take full advantage of it.
Based on police presence currently around the university and just basic, everybody's been so worried and nervous about what you were going to say 30 minutes ago. Do you have a message to the community or to people that might be feeling violent?
Well, the family, and I will say this, I have paid attention to some of the protests about this. It didn't affect my decision in any fashion, but everyone seems to have behaved themselves, and the family has spoken out that any protest should be peaceful. They reiterated that to me again today, and that's the way it should be. People should have a right to speak out, but if you start breaking things and burning things, hopefully the Cincinnati police and the mayor will come down hard on them.
Do you think race played a part in this, or did the investigators look at that?
You know, I don't know if it did or not. I just don't, there's no evidence of it. But, you know, as we mentioned when we indicted the people that were at Fountain Square, you know, there was no evidence of ethnic intimidation there. But those are misdemeanors. I mean, this guy's facing life in prison. I couldn't care what his motivation was. I just know he intentionally killed somebody.
Joe,
Yeah.
There's a two-count indictment of voluntary manslaughter.
We backed it up. We backed up the murder charge with a voluntary manslaughter. It's a lesser included offense to murder. And what happens, Jeff, is sometimes if you get a goofy judge, they say, oh, you just charged him with murder. I'm not going to give a lesser included instruction. And so we backed it. We always back them up just in case the judge won't let us argue a lesser included offense.
Joe, I know you said that a warrant has been issued for him. His attorney, Stu Matthews, indicated us to make arrangements to have him turn himself in. Do you have any information that is being done in conjunction with the prosecution?
I don't know. I told our investigators to go find him. Okay, thank you.